Okay, buckle up, buttercups, because we're about to take a wild ride back in time. Ever feel like life's just throwing lemons at you, and you're fresh out of lemonade recipes? Or maybe you're just looking for a little ancient wisdom to navigate the chaos of modern existence. Well, you've stumbled onto the right channel, because today, we're diving deep into the mind of a guy who literally ran the biggest empire on Earth, while simultaneously writing a self-help book that's still kicking butt centuries later. I'm talking about the OG philosophical rock star, the emperor who dropped truth bombs instead of mic drops, Marcus Aurelius. Get ready for Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic emperor's legacy, because your brain is about to get a serious upgrade. All right. Settle in, folks. You know, sometimes life feels like one giant cosmic "are you kidding me right now?" moment, doesn't it? You wake up, the Wi-Fi's out, your coffee machine stages a rebellion, and suddenly, you're contemplating whether moving to a yurt in the wilderness is a viable career path. We've all been there. And in those moments, don't you just wish you had a secret weapon? A philosophical cheat sheet? Well, what if I told you there was a guy, a literal emperor, who faced down plagues, wars, backstabbing politicians, and probably some seriously cranky senators, and still managed to keep his cool, his composure, and his incredible wisdom intact? And what if I told you he left us a personal diary, packed with the ultimate guide to navigating life's relentless barrage of, well, stuff? Stick around, because we're about to unlock the timeless wisdom of Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic emperor himself. And trust me, this isn't your grandpa's dusty history lesson. This is about making your life better. Right here, right now. The rise of a Stoic emperor. So, who is this legendary dude, Marcus Aurelius? Picture this. It's the Roman Empire. Peak power, but also peak drama. Think Game of Thrones, but with more togas and slightly less dragons. Born in 121 AD, Marcus wasn't initially destined for the purple robes of an emperor. He was a bright kid, always had his nose in a book, and was totally into philosophy. And not just any philosophy, but Stoicism, a school of thought that basically teaches you how to be a rock in a hurricane, how to find tranquility amidst chaos, and how to focus on what you can control and totally let go of what you can't. Sounds pretty chill, right? But destiny, as it often does, had other plans for our young philosopher. Through a series of adoptions and political maneuvering, because, you know, Rome, Marcus found himself on the path to becoming emperor. He was adopted by Emperor Antoninus Pius, and when Pius shuffled off his mortal coil in 161 AD, Marcus found himself, almost reluctantly, at the helm of the most powerful empire in the world. Talk about a job promotion. Imagine going from pondering the meaning of life to suddenly having to deal with barbarians at the gates, economic crises, and probably a few 100,000 angry citizens demanding better gladiatorial games. No pressure. His reign, from 161 to 180 AD, was no walk in the Roman Forum. Oh no, it was a relentless gauntlet of challenges. We're talking about the Marcomannic Wars, a series of brutal conflicts along the Danube frontier that basically consumed most of his reign. He spent years on campaign, away from the comforts of Rome, living in military camps, enduring the harsh realities of war. And as if that wasn't enough, the Antonine Plague hit, absolutely devastating the empire and wiping out a significant portion of the population. Think COVID-19, but with way less hand sanitizer and a lot more, well, ancient medicine. This wasn't some minor inconvenience. It was an existential threat to the Roman Empire. Now, imagine yourself in his sandals. You're the emperor, the most powerful man in the known world, and everything is going sideways. Most rulers would probably resort to tyranny, panic, or maybe just a lot of wine. But Marcus? He leaned into his Stoic training. He wasn't some distant, aloof ruler. He was a philosopher king, deeply committed to justice, duty, and the well-being of his people, even when those people were, let's be honest, probably driving him absolutely nuts. He famously appointed co-emperor Lucius Verus to help him manage the immense burdens, which was pretty unprecedented for the time. This wasn't a power grab. It was a pragmatic decision born out of a sense of responsibility. Marcus understood that even an emperor couldn't do it all alone. He surrounded himself with competent advisors, listened to counsel, and consistently prioritized the welfare of the empire over personal gain or glory. This guy was the real deal. He wasn't just talking the talk, he was walking the walk, even if that walk was through a muddy military camp in the dead of winter. He embodied what it meant to be a Stoic, not just in thought, but in action, under immense pressure. It's like trying to meditate during a mosh pit, but somehow he pulled it off. Truly remarkable. The power of meditations. Now, let's talk about the main event, the philosophical mic drop of the millennium. Meditations. This isn't some fancy, published book Marcus intended for the masses. Oh no. Meditations is essentially Marcus Aurelius's personal journal, his private thoughts, his philosophical doodles, written to himself for himself, to guide him through the absolute madness of imperial life. It's like peeking into the mind of a genius who's having a really intense conversation with himself about life, death, duty, and how not to lose your marbles when the world feels like it's crumbling around you. Imagine writing a diary where you're constantly reminding yourself to be a better person, to stay calm, to accept what you can't change, and to really get over that annoying senator who keeps trying to steal your snacks. That's Meditations in a nutshell. It's raw, it's honest, and it's incredibly relatable, even 2 millennia later. It's not a systematic philosophical treatise. It's a collection of aphorisms, reflections, and self-admonitions, written in the heat of battle, both external and internal. And guess what? This seemingly private collection of thoughts has become one of the most influential and beloved philosophical texts of all time. Why? Because it cuts through all the philosophical jargon and gets straight to the heart of what it means to be a human being, facing the same fundamental struggles we all do: fear, anger, loss, ambition, and the constant quest for meaning. So, what are some of these key Stoic principles that Marcus spills the beans on in Meditations? Let's break down a few of the big ones, the greatest hits, if you will. First up, the dichotomy of control. This is a huge one, and honestly, if you only take one thing away from Stoicism, make it this. Marcus constantly reminds himself, and us, that some things are within our control and some things are not. Our opinions, our impulses, our desires, our aversions, these are ours to command. But external things, our health, reputation, wealth, the weather, what other people think of us, the traffic on your commute, totally out of our hands. The Stoic path, according to Marcus, is to put all our energy into what we can control and to calmly accept what we cannot. Fretting about things you can't change is like trying to dry off a fish with a blow dryer, utterly pointless and likely to make a mess. This principle is a total game changer for reducing anxiety. Seriously, try it. Next time you're stressing about something, ask yourself, is this within my control? If not, acknowledge it, let it go, and move on. It's liberating, truly. Next, we have virtue as the sole good. For Stoics, the only true good is virtue: wisdom, justice, courage, and temperance. Everything else, like health, wealth, pleasure, or even fame, are considered indifferents. They can be preferred, sure, but they aren't essential for a good life. What is essential is acting virtuously, doing the right thing, no matter the circumstances. Marcus hammers this home again and again. He wasn't chasing glory or personal enrichment. He was striving to be a just and wise ruler, even when it meant making unpopular decisions or sacrificing his own comfort. It's about being a good human, not just a successful one in the eyes of the world. It's about your inner scorecard, not your outer one. Then there's the concept of acceptance of fate, Amor, Fati. This isn't about being passive or fatalistic. It's about recognizing that the universe operates according to its own laws. And sometimes, things happen that are beyond our power to prevent. Rather than resisting these events, we should embrace them, see them as opportunities for growth, and integrate them into our personal journey. Marcus often wrote about viewing obstacles as opportunities, as challenges that strengthen our character. He wasn't saying, just roll over and take it. He was saying, roll with the punches and learn how to punch back smarter. When a plague hits, he doesn't lament it. He considers how he can respond with courage and compassion. It's about transforming adversity into advantage. Finally, a big one, the impermanence of all things. Marcus frequently reminds himself of the fleeting nature of life, of fame, of empires, of everything. This isn't meant to be morbid, but rather a powerful reminder to live in the present, to appreciate what we have, and to not cling too tightly to anything. He knew his time was limited, and so was everyone else's. This awareness isn't depressing, it's motivating. It's like, hey, you've only got one shot at this, so make it count. Don't sweat the small stuff, and focus on what truly matters. It puts your petty squabbles and anxieties into perspective, doesn't it? It's basically the ultimate YOLO philosophy, but with more wisdom and less questionable life choices. Meditations is a timeless classic because it speaks directly to the human condition. It's a manual for living a good life, a life of purpose, resilience, and inner peace, even when the external world is a chaotic mess. And let's be real, our external world today can be a pretty chaotic mess, can't it? Which brings us perfectly to our next point. Facing adversity with Stoicism. So, we've talked about the Stoic emperor and his super-secret diary. Now let's get down to brass tacks. How did Marcus Aurelius actually use this stuff to stare down adversity? And more importantly, how can we? Because let's be honest, we might not be dealing with barbarian invasions or ancient plagues, but we've got our own brand of modern-day barbarians, like that unread email inbox, the relentless news cycle, or that one coworker who always steals your lunch from the fridge. Marcus's approach to hardship was refreshingly pragmatic. He didn't pretend things weren't tough. He acknowledged the pain, the fear, the struggle. But then, he'd flip the script. He'd ask himself, what is within my control here? How can I respond to this with virtue? Let's take the Marco-Manic Wars as an example. This wasn't a quick skirmish. It was a grueling, multi-year conflict. Imagine the constant stress, the logistical nightmares, the loss of life. Most leaders would probably be tearing their hair out. Marcus, instead of lamenting the situation, used it as an opportunity to practice fortitude and justice. He didn't complain about being away from Rome. He embraced his duty. He didn't blame the barbarians. He focused on what he could do to protect the empire and his people. He even made himself approachable to his soldiers, sharing their hardships, understanding that true leadership comes from shared experience, not just shouting orders from a fancy tent. He literally wrote parts of Meditations on Campaign, probably with a quill made from a pigeon feather and some questionable ink. That's dedication. Then there was the Antonine Plague. This was truly catastrophic. Imagine a disease that wipes out a third of your population, including members of your own family and inner circle. Panic, despair, and social breakdown would be natural responses. But Marcus? He didn't give in to fear. He focused on practical measures, organizing relief efforts, ensuring proper burials, and trying to maintain public order. He understood that while he couldn't stop the disease itself, he could control his response to it. He could embody courage, compassion, and resilience for his people. He didn't run and hide. He faced it head-on, like a true Stoic. It's a powerful lesson in how to deal with the utterly uncontrollable, isn't it? So, how do we apply these ancient superpowers to our modern lives? Let's get practical. Consider the view from above. This is a classic Stoic technique Marcus used. When you're caught up in some petty drama or feeling overwhelmed by your own problems, try to zoom out. Imagine looking at your life, your city, your country, even the entire planet from outer space. From that cosmic perspective, suddenly your annoying boss or that terrible parking spot doesn't seem quite so monumental, does it? It helps you gain perspective, realize the vastness of the universe, and how small and temporary our individual struggles often are. It's like hitting the mental reset button. Another great one is premeditation of evils, premeditatio malorum. Sounds a bit gloomy, right? But it's actually super empowering. It's about taking a moment to imagine the worst-case scenario. Not to dwell on it, but to mentally prepare for it. If you're worried about a presentation, imagine it going horribly wrong. What would you do? How would you recover? By mentally rehearsing these bad outcomes, you often realize they aren't as terrifying as your imagination makes them out to be, and you build a mental resilience to handle them if they do occur. It's like a fire drill for your mind. You're not hoping for the fire, but you're darn well ready if it happens. Marcus would have done this before every major battle or political crisis. He wasn't a pessimist. He was a realist with a plan B, C, and D. And finally, let's talk about the obstacle is the way. This isn't explicitly a Marcus Aurelius phrase, but it's deeply embedded in Stoic thought, and certainly in his actions. Every single challenge you face, every setback, every seemingly insurmountable obstacle, it's not something to be avoided, but something to be embraced. It's an opportunity to practice virtue, to grow stronger, to learn something new. Stuck in traffic? Opportunity to practice patience. Lost your job? Opportunity to reevaluate your path and discover new talents. Relationship trouble? Opportunity to practice empathy and communication. Marcus viewed the relentless trials of his reign not as burdens, but as material for his philosophical practice. He saw every moment of hardship as a chance to be more just, more courageous, more temperate. It's about reframing your perspective from, "Why is this happening to me?" to, "What can I learn from this, and how can I respond virtuously?" It's a total game changer, turning stumbling blocks into stepping stones. Who needs a life coach when you have a 2,000-year-old emperor whispering wisdom in your ear? The legacy of Marcus Aurelius. So, here we are, centuries later, and the wisdom of Marcus Aurelius isn't just some dusty old philosophy for academics. It's alive, it's kicking, and it's making a serious comeback. His impact on Stoicism is undeniable. He didn't invent Stoicism, of course. It had been around for centuries before him, with incredible thinkers like Seneca and Epictetus laying much of the groundwork. But Marcus, with his unique position as an emperor, gave Stoicism a powerful, practical, and highly visible endorsement. He showed the world that these aren't just abstract ideas for philosophers in ivory towers. They are principles that can guide you through the absolute toughest challenges life throws at you, whether you're ruling an empire or just trying to get through Monday morning. Meditations isn't just enduring, it's thriving. It's on reading lists for CEOs, athletes, military leaders, and anyone looking for a little sanity in a crazy world. Why? Because it offers something profoundly valuable, a framework for inner peace and resilience in the face of external chaos. It doesn't promise you a life free of problems, but it gives you the tools to navigate those problems with grace and strength. It's like a mental operating system upgrade, compatible with any human brain, regardless of the era. Think about it. In a world obsessed with external validation, quick fixes, and instant gratification, Marcus Aurelius offers a radical alternative. He says, "Look inward. Master yourself. Focus on your character, your actions, and your responses. Don't chase after fleeting pleasures or external achievements. Cultivate inner virtue." This message resonates deeply today because we're constantly bombarded with external pressures, distractions, and anxieties. We're living in an age of information overload, social media comparison traps, and an almost constant feeling of urgency. Marcus Aurelius offers an antidote, a way to cut through the noise and find stillness within. His Stoic principles continue to inspire leaders across all fields. You'll find echoes of his wisdom in modern leadership books, in military training, and even in sports psychology. Why? Because the core tenets, discipline, self-control, resilience, clear thinking under pressure, focusing on what you can control and accepting what you cannot, are universally applicable traits for effective leadership. A general facing a difficult strategic decision, a CEO navigating an economic downturn, a politician trying to make ethical choices, they can all draw strength and clarity from Marcus Aurelius's reflections. And it's not just for the big shots. It inspires everyday individuals too. The person struggling with anxiety, the student facing immense pressure, the parent trying to navigate the complexities of family life. Meditations offers a guiding hand. It's a reminder that we all have the capacity for reason, for resilience, and for living a life of purpose, no matter our circumstances. It teaches us that true power comes not from external dominion, but from self-mastery. It's like a timeless instruction manual for being a better human being, available to everyone, no assembly required. Modern-day Stoics. So, if Marcus Aurelius was the OG Stoic emperor, what does Stoicism look like in the 21st century? Is it all about wearing a toga and debating philosophy in the town square? Nah, not really. It's about taking those ancient principles and weaving them into the fabric of our modern lives. The relevance of Stoicism today is, frankly, off the charts. We live in a world that often feels like it's spinning out of control. Climate change, political polarization, economic uncertainty, the constant digital barrage. It's enough to make anyone want to curl up in a ball and binge-watch Netflix for a week. But Stoicism offers practical tools, not just philosophical musings, for navigating this stress and uncertainty. Think about it. Dealing with information overload. Stoicism teaches us to filter out the noise, to focus on what's essential and within our control. No need to doom scroll for hours. Focus on your sphere of influence. Managing anxiety. The dichotomy of control is a superpower here. Worried about things you can't change? Practice letting go. Focus on your response, your attitude, your effort. Building resilience. Life's gonna throw punches. Stoicism helps you absorb those punches, learn from them, and get back up. It's about building mental toughness, not avoiding hardship. It's about being robust, not fragile. Improving relationships. Understanding that you can only control your own actions and reactions is key. You can't control what your spouse, your kids, or your annoying neighbor do. But you can control how you respond to them, with empathy, patience, or clear boundaries. Let's dive into some practical Stoic tools you can grab and use right now. One fantastic tool is journaling. Like Marcus, grab a notebook or open a document on your computer and just write. Reflect on your day. What went well? What challenged you? How did you respond? Where did you lose your cool? Where did you act virtuously? This isn't just a diary, it's a self-assessment tool. It allows you to observe your thoughts and actions without judgment and identify areas for improvement. Marcus's Meditations is essentially the ultimate Stoic journal. and it shows us just how powerful this practice can be. It's your own personal philosophical gym. Another gem is negative visualization. Before you roll your eyes, hear me out. This isn't about being pessimistic. It's about appreciating what you have by imagining what it would be like without it. Take a moment to imagine losing your job, or your home, or a loved one. Not to wallow in despair, but to cultivate gratitude for the good things in your life. We often take so much for granted. By briefly contemplating the absence of these things, we learn to appreciate their presence more deeply. Suddenly, that working coffee machine isn't just a coffee machine, it's a blessing. It makes you less prone to taking things for granted and more present in your appreciation. And then there's practicing discomfort. This isn't about self-flagellation, but about voluntarily stepping outside your comfort zone in small ways. Take a cold shower, skip a meal, walk instead of drive, wear slightly less comfortable clothes for a day. Why? To build resilience and show yourself that you can handle a little discomfort. It makes you less soft, less easily disturbed by minor inconveniences. Marcus knew that the comforts of empire could make one weak. He actively sought out challenging environments to maintain his fortitude. It's about training your mind to say, "I got this," even when things aren't perfectly smooth. It makes you robust, like a mental weight training session. Bringing Stoicism into everyday life isn't about being emotionless robots. It's about being more intentional, more mindful, and more resilient. It's about responding to life's challenges with wisdom and virtue, rather than being tossed around by every external event. It's about understanding that while you can't control the waves, you can learn to surf. It's about finding freedom not from life's difficulties, but within them. It's about realizing that the ultimate power lies not in what happens to you, but in how you choose to react. And that, my friends, is a legacy worth embracing. And there you have it, folks. The incredible, enduring legacy of Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic emperor who truly walked the talk. From battling barbarians to writing profound philosophical insights in his tent, this guy was the ultimate example of how to live a life of virtue, resilience, and inner peace, no matter what challenges you face. His Meditations isn't just a book, it's a personal roadmap to a calmer, more meaningful existence. So, what Stoic principle are you going to try applying in your life this week? Are you going to practice the dichotomy of control? Try a bit of negative visualization? Or maybe just start journaling your thoughts like the ancient emperors used to? Let me know in the comments below. I love hearing how these timeless ideas are helping you navigate the modern world. If you found this deep dive into Marcus Aurelius as fascinating and as helpful as I did, do me a huge favor. Hit that like button, share this video with anyone who needs a dose of ancient wisdom. And for goodness sake, make sure you're subscribed to the channel and got those notification bells rung. We've got so many more incredible journeys into history, philosophy, and practical wisdom coming your way. And you won't want to miss a single one. Until next time, keep your mind clear, your spirit strong, and remember, the obstacle isn't just in the way, it is the way. Stay stoic, my friends.